The Terran versus Protoss matchup has quickly become one of my absolute favorite ones to watch at the professional level of StarCraft 2. Especially since the new multiplayer balance patch went live a couple of weeks ago now, the games have been absolutely ridiculous. Now apparently though, our blue Terran player here in the top left-hand corner of Simulacrum wants to start off this game with a bang, right now sending the second SCV towards what seems to be the other side of the map as well. From South Korea, we're looking inside of the main base of Bunny. Now, I haven't casted a lot of games of Bunny over the last few weeks. There's no denying, though, that this man is still one of the very best when it comes to playing with the Terran pieces. I think the reason why he wants to start off this game so aggressively is primarily because of his opponent, playing here with the red Protoss probes. He still has the strongest Protoss versus Terran on the planet. We're looking inside of the main base of Trap. Trap's PvT is ridiculously good. If you want to learn how to become a better Protoss player, especially for the PvT matchup, highly recommend you go ahead and study some of his replays. That's actually what I've been doing myself. I've been following along with Trap's build orders in the PvT matchup. And yeah, it's good. It's very good if you manage to copy it, and well, obviously if you have some micro as well to go along with that. Now, you will figure out here the timing of that refinery. That is absolutely huge. This immediately signals to him that something is not quite right. Normally that one should have been done for a little bit already, or at the very least it should be close to finishing. Okay, he is going to figure out what's happening. Okay, second barracks will be spotted as well. Bunny is going to start producing those Marines. Another probe already has been pulled. We do see that Zealot coming up almost immediately. It's critical here for Trap to slow this down as much as possible. Now, keep in mind, it's two barracks. This is something that Bunny wants to deal damage with. He probably doesn't want to end the game here, or at the very least, he doesn't expect he will be able to end the game here. He just wants to slow down this Protoss player as much as possible and try and throw him off of his game. One bunker comes up. Now, that one is certainly not going to be in range of any of these structures, but it will probably be like an anchor to fall back into. And there we go. Second bunker also does get produced. If you're not careful, this certainly can end the game. A couple of additional probes have been pulled. Cybernetics core is done right now. That means shield batteries will be produced here as well. We do see that Stalker coming up too. Trap does quickly snipe the SCV that's building the bottom bunker. Another SCV, though, was pulled from the main base. This one will also be killed very quickly. And I think with that, most of this should probably be held. Still, though, the Zealots are in a bit of a weird spot. Yeah. Ooh, one of them will be healed up just barely in time. Stalker right now done as well. And while this eventually will likely be cleaned up, it's one of those very annoying builds to have to deal with. Both players taking a little bit of damage here and there. One shield battery right now, very low on energy. Nice snipe there with that Stalker. Yeah, Stalkers take quite a few hits to kill Marines. Alright, here we go. But he decides to retreat. If this was unscouted for a little while longer, maybe he could have pulled off a little bit more. Right now, though, this should be something that that Trap can certainly stabilize with. How many workers went down? Both players ended up losing 3. Command center, though, in the meantime, is coming up, and you can see right here, the timing of the CC is still faster than that of the Nexus. Well, I mean, I'm assuming the Nexus goes down here. He should. There it is. A little bit later right there on the Nexus. That pesky little probe that was still on the other side of the map, actually, is going to continue onwards with a little bit of harassment, too. Those two Stalkers immediately were sent across the map after the barracks decided to lift up and get on out of there. And you know what? Trap is really being super annoying right now. Cyclone will come out here eventually, but it takes quite a while to build. We do have the robotics facility right now coming up as well. Trap, a big fan of that robo play. Likes to go for the double Colossus. But things should be stabilized here pretty nicely. He's got to complete the wall, actually, with one of those barracks after losing the supply depot. So was that worth it? Was that really worth it here in the early game? I mean, a weaker Protoss player could have crumbled under that pressure. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it was, right? You can see here as well that the resources lost certainly are in favor here of the Protoss player. You gotta keep in mind the travel time, missed mining time as well, the production here, the time that it takes for these barracks to float on back home. All of it is a little bit unfortunate. Now, he's gonna be able to salvage the bunker, so get some of those resources back. One more Marine, though, will be picked off, and this is the spot in the game where Trap can feel really, really solid. Okay, he's got the Prism. Won't be able to get his blink out very quickly, but the nice thing about the Prism is that it gives every single unit blink. If you micro it correctly, it can essentially just keep all of those units alive, and you can get a lot of value out of it. Now, one Marine tried to retreat, through the top section of the map. Units are scouting everywhere to see if there's any stray marines located on this map. Here we go. Bunny's gonna have to hold on. Now he's got one Cyclone, he's got two Widow Mines as well. Probably will send his medevac across the map to try and deal some counter damage while the Protoss is busy. He doesn't really know exactly what's going on, but he does know what his opponent is capable of. Well, this will be mostly unscouted right now, though. Nice little bit of elevator play here. There you go. Just push the button. It will go eventually. Keep in mind, you can only load 4 of those Stalkers in, though, so you gotta be very cautious here with the positioning. But this is already very, very nice, actually, for Protoss. Ooh, nicely done. Decides to lift up one of those Stalkers. Actually, Stalkers, ooh, derping out for a little bit. Siege tank right now available as well. Very helpful unsieged. Cyclone locks onto the Warp Prism. In the meantime, by the way, we do now have that medevac on the other side of the map while the Stalkers are being microed. Is he paying attention at home? He's gonna have to... Oh, God. Oh, God. I know we haven't looked in the main base of the Terran for a little bit. Looks like most of it has been cleaned up. 3 more Stalkers do remain. And you know what? Both players take heavy losses here. Yeah, I think just target fire down whatever you can. Just get an SCV or 2, and that will probably be the most you're gonna get. Late response right there on the pro pool. Trap ended up losing only a handful of workers there, but both players losing an even amount. Bunny once again boosting forward. Widow Mines are off cooldown. Stalkers are available, but the probes once again have to be pushed away. Ooh. Oh! I don't know if he manually target fired. He must have, right? But that was excellent. Massive connection right there. That's one of those moments where you rather didn't micro, you know? It's one of those moments where you wished you didn't pull any of the probes because you probably would have lost less. This Widow Mine, while dealing a lot of damage, is accepting its fate. 10 worker kills right there by one of those bad boys. Okay, Colossus coming up. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, right? Bunny has stabilized as well. This is the moment where he can really start piling on the additional production. Doesn't have the additional barracks yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple more here, or maybe the addition of a command center here in a little bit. Third Nexus will probably be acquired here by the Protoss in a little bit too. Yeah, they're in a bit of a weird spot. Like, they're still producing the STVs and the probes for 2 base saturation, right? It's a little bit of an awkward spot to be in. Looks like the scan just now probably allowed him to snipe one of those observers. Do we have an observer kill? Yeah, we do have an observer kill. Only one of them actually remains. So this is the anti, you know, medevac positioning right here on the observer. Although there's this weird observer meta as well, where Terran players know where the Protoss like to put their observers, and then they decide to just simply fly by it and try and, you know, have the medevac inside of the natural instead, or come in from a bit of a weird angle. Stalker's just trying to get whatever they can here. Ooh, gotta be careful. Don't want to obviously lose that prism, but the supply depot will be saved. Medevac in the bottom left-hand corner. And this is what I mean, right? He's gonna send it straight past this observer. But on paper, if you know exactly where your opponent is gonna position those observers, and Trap pretty much always has one over here, and then on other maps, one close to the natural as well. Wouldn't be surprised to have one over here in a little bit. I guess this probe is essentially an observer right now, but he could have, like, sent the medevac from the north instead, and that would be able to deal a lot more damage. Right now, the Stalkers are going to scramble into this direction. At the same time, though, Terran is also making a move out through what seems to be the center of the map. Colossus is located over there. A couple more Stalkers right now are being sent towards the main base. Probes are pulled off the line as well. A couple of units get warped in at the same time, though. Looks like Bunny just marches up the ramp. Yeah, Trap actually expected this ramp to be the chosen one. Still, though, very good force fields do now trap most of that army. Pun not intended. Good pickup as well. The Marauders actually managed to connect very nicely with that Colossus. Looks like one of those laser giraffes will be picked off, even though it is being healed up by the shield battery. The other one, though, will stay alive, I guess, for the time being. Another Colossus actually has been loaded up into the prism. And in the grand scheme of things, one of those bad boys ended up falling. All of the units were deflected from the main base as well. And Bunny is going to soon have to go up against 3-base Protoss economy. That was a nice little move. In the meantime, though, he did also secure his own orbital command, and that's very critical. If he wouldn't have done that, I would have been a little bit worried for his positioning. Here's the additional production coming up, already going for the second starport. Alright. That War Prism has been worth its weight in gold so far, by the way. And once again, it's going to be very helpful with reinforcing this fight, but I think also with some micro. Siege tank will be picked off. Keep in mind, there's no charge or anything available. A couple of sentries actually come from a very strange angle here from the right. That hurts quite a bit. One of them gets picked off. Second one right now also goes down. Prism also dies. And I think with that, Trap is going to be forced to go all the way back home. And probably back to the drawing board as he loses all of those big, beefy units. Most of the medevacs stayed alive here as well. And while Trap wants to continue the aggression, I mean, that was a little bit sloppy, right? If those sentries came in from the other angle, if the Prism stayed alive for a little bit longer, this would have looked much, much better. Immediately decides to reproduce the Prism, though. Makes you wonder why we don't see, like, double Prism more often, right? I guess that's gonna be a thing we'll probably have a lot more of in the future. Double Prism play. I mean, it's already pretty popular right now, but it seems like if you can micro 2 Prisms, it's much better. Actually, is that the... No, never mind. This is the first Prism. The one that we just saw coming out. I thought for a second that was the second one. Okay, so Prism is available. That's huge. Only a couple of Vikings at this point. And there we go. The Vikings are going to be excellent when it comes to dealing with the Colossus, as long as it's not inside of the plane. Now, you got to be very careful. Ooh, nicely done here. SCV's actually pulled off the line as well. 13 of them end up going down already. An absolute slugfest of a battle. Bunny target firing down as much as he can as well, microing a lot of those units backwards. Right now, forced to lift up the orbital command. He will end up losing the sensor tower as well. 16 SCVs going down. Both players taking a lot of damage here. And I'm liking this position for the Protoss player quite a bit better. Now, Terran, though, is going to be able to start producing a lot of those Vikings. If you look at this Protoss army, right, and you take the Prism out of it, and you take the Colossus out of it, it is significantly less interesting, especially without charge, especially without blink, especially without, like, you know, really a lot of energies on these sentries and all that, right? Like, only just now is when we finally start seeing some of those upgrades come up for Protoss. If Bunny can produce a bunch of Vikings and go on the offensive, he should be in a really, really good spot. He already does have +1/+1 upgrades as well, which is massive. He will need to make the decision here in a little bit if he wants to continue upgrading as well, because he does have... wait, he's got 3 engineering base. That's a little bit excessive. He does have, you know, the armory right now as well, so he can make that call. It looks like both players are actually cycling their armies to a different position. So the orbital command has been landed over here. Terran at the same time was moving out across the map. Once again, few SCVs get picked off. The orbital command is starting to take a lot of damage. Now, here's those Vikings, right? The Vikings are very critical in this engagement. Orbital command will be killed. That's a massive pick-off. You know what? I think what Trap should do right now is just go home. Don't fight this. Don't even bother. You're in a huge economical advantage. Just try and max out. Now, he needs to warp in over here just so he... Oh, beautiful force field there. Just so he, you know, he can take the engagement if he is forced to. But that was a lovely little move there. This is where that 3-base economy really comes into play. So 55 workers for Protoss versus 36 for Terran. Now, you gotta keep in mind, the mules are very helpful, but Bunny, he decided to pull the SCVs off gas. He's in a little bit of trouble at this point. So, he's actually resecuring 2 new mining locations, but it's with both the main and the natural at the same time. This is not something we usually see. 2 medevacs though, in the meantime. They went all the way to the southern section of the map. Looks like the observer in this location is gone, so they are unscouted. And he should be able to deal quite a bit of damage. Protoss was busy securing the 3rd base location instead. Actually, killing the Twilight Council would be massive. Yeah, there you go, get it. Oh, denying charge is so annoying. Oh, there it is. If you can also get the Templar Archives, actually, that would be massive too. There you go. Storm was not researched yet. I don't see any Archons, considering Zealots right now will not have charge. And, you know, we obviously won't see Storm anytime soon. Yeah, he's forced to now go into Disruptors. Okay. You need to make the Twilight Council and then once again the Templar Archives before you can get those Stormy Boys out. And then you have to get the research and then you need to start getting the energy and then you'll finally have Storm, right? It takes a very long time. So he decides to go for the 2nd source of splash damage and 2 additional robotic facilities. Oh my god, massive miss rally actually. Ooh, you know what? Loses 2 Colossus just like that? Wow. That is one of those things that usually does not happen at this level. 3rd Colossus goes down as well. Both players making blunders. Both players making significant mistakes, but that does not make these kind of games any less interesting. It's actually pretty funny. Like, when you talk to pro gamers about what, like, their favorite game of the year is, they will all mention a very boring macro game where they played perfectly. The perfect games are not the ones that you actually want to necessarily watch, right? The one-sided matches usually aren't the ones that are the most exciting ones to watch. Unless you have two players that play absolutely perfectly. Then obviously, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of wiggle room. Okay, so I'm liking this position for Bunny a lot better. If it wasn't for him getting those triple Colossi though, it would have been an absolute disaster. Looks like the double Robo over here, over at the third base, will be picked off as well. In the meantime, big drop inside of the main base. This one will be cleaned up with ease, as Trap just holds on. Like it wasn't even there. We do have the enhanced shockwaves ability now being researched as well, indicating that Bunny wants to make the switch towards a few of those ghosts. The ghosts usually are considered to be the counter, and he already actually has a couple, but usually they're considered to be the counter against High Templar, but they can still be very good as well at just simply diminishing the shields. Also getting the sentries out of the equation is very, very nice. Not as nice as removing the High Templar, but still good. Dark Shrine coming up, Forge coming up. Once again, 2 additional Robo facilities are coming up as well. Fourth base, forced to be cancelled. In the meantime, by the way, Bunny, his economy really isn't that great, but he's making the best of it. Like, this is a very low eco Terran. Both players actually, you know what? I'm looking at this point. Both players have very little money. Ooh, big Disruptor hit. Does kill a bunch of those Immortals. I don't think you want to do that, Probe. Nope. Ambitious, but it's not going to happen. Base instead gets taken here on the northern section of the map. Economical position here are heavily in favor of the Protoss a couple of minutes ago. Right now, I'm liking this more and more for the Terran. He's got a lot of fresh minerals he can mine from quite a little while. He hasn't really added on too much. Only really gets himself the +2, infantry weapons at this point. Slowly adding on more. Oh god, oh god, oh god! Oh, dude, okay. Slowly adding on more upgrades is what I was gonna say. That was a massive connection there on that Disruptor. Another Disruptor feeling ambitious. That one will be picked off before the Purification Nova can detonate. Ah. That was unfortunate, right? He was looking inside of the main base probably at disengagement. If he can get another one of these medevacs, there you go. 2 of them actually ended up going down. Very nice. But he was probably looking at the fight inside of the main base when that massive Disruptor hit came out of nowhere. Has this Nexus been spotted? Yeah, Bunny doesn't know about it. Okay. He's rallying units just straight across the map. One Disruptor right now trying to make its way to the safety of the third base. Once again, Medivac gets picked off. A lot of supply lost on both ends of the map. I wouldn't want to be an infantry unit in Bunny's army, okay? I wouldn't want to be any of the units on either of these players' side of the map, to be honest. Like, both of them are very, very aggressive. Just sending units to their grave non-stop. Another command center right now acquired in the bottom left. Considering he's so much in his face, right? He's so much in the Protoss' face. He's just simply feeling confident enough that he doesn't need to fly it in that direction either. Trap, though, is really good defensively, right? So once again, yeah, I don't think this base is gonna... Ooh, well, I mean, it should be easy. There you go. Once again, this should be something Protoss can defend. He's very good when it comes to holding on. And while that is like a bit of a stereotype at this point for like top-level Protoss players, pretty much all of them are ridiculously good at holding on. Trap certainly is at that level as well. You know how like they call stats the Shield of Ire and they call Showtime Demauer? Just because they're both very good at playing defensively? I think that Trap needs a nickname as well. I'm open to recommendations. Let me know down below. Okay, couple of Dark Templar. For some reason, we're warped in. I'm kind of liking it. Wow, Bunny! That was beautiful. Woo, he saw the little shimmer. He just happened to spot it. Scans, picks both of them off. That is one of those things that can be a disaster. Yeah, immediately missile turrets get produced. Ooh, Medivacs though here. They won't be going home. Probes actually have to run because they were actually almost caught up in the splash damage of that Purification Nova. Few probes do end up getting killed here, but I'm liking this position once again. And I know it's been flip-flopping back and forth, but I'm liking this position more and more for Trap as time goes by. He's adding on a couple of Archons right now, finally. Archon's very helpful, obviously. A good all-round unit. There's never been a Protoss player in the world who thought, oh man, if only I didn't make those Archons. No, that doesn't happen. But what I do like for Bunny, though, is that he did now secure another expansion. He's not been mining that much here. He really hasn't added on a lot of workers until right now. He's finally starting to produce some again. He wanted to close out this game a while ago. Is forced to now play it out. Now, where do you go from here? Because this is a really difficult situation to be in. Bunny essentially put all of his eggs in one basket. He fell, and then for some reason has to keep like one of those eggs that's still whole and needs to juggle it somehow, you know? Like, it's difficult, guys. I mean, I took that analogy like 7 steps too far, but it's very difficult right now for the Terran player to make that cool. So, he's just sort of sticking around on Marines and Medivacs and Marauders and all that, and it's fine. But Protoss is getting a more sophisticated unit composition, right? Like, if you look at this army here for Protoss, yeah, there's still some Zealots and some Stalkers and whatnot in. But he's starting to add on a lot more beefy units as well that will be much longer lasting. Still, though, they have to be in the right place at the right time. Once again, Disruptors, wow! 3 of them get killed for free. Another Disruptor right now comes from the top. 4 of them get picked off for basically free. I think this game must have been played, like, I don't know, at a terrible time for both of these guys. Probably like 7 in the morning or something after a long night of StarCraft. Another Disruptor right there gets picked off. Uncharacteristic, sloppy moves on both sides of the map. I always feel a little bit harsh whenever I'm critiquing a pro gamer. Because, like, I cannot do it at this level. Actually, this is a fake medevac drop. I like it. I always feel a little bit harsh whenever I'm criticizing a pro gamer who's much better, even at 7 AM. After, like, you know, being awake for 48 hours and playing any of these races than I am. But I still think it's fair, right? Like, we can definitely call it as it is. I mean, that's not something we expect at this level. Okay, Protoss finally has decided to move across the map again with a big force. And you know what? I think Trap is smelling blood in the water. He has to be careful, though. He's like a piranha. He has to be careful, though. Because, yeah, concaves here. Certainly something that that Bunny can use to, like, negate a lot of the damage of the Disruptor. Make sure that don't get the big connections. He now decides to get rid of the debris as well, but... yeah, you can do that for the high ground bases. What are you going to do about this planetary fort as well? The fact that it's a planetary is nice. Ooh. Now, oh god. This is apparently the fight that he wants to take. Bunny decides to make a very aggressive call. Disruptor, once again, microed again very, very nicely. We do see some force fields going down as well. That planetary fortress, though, so helpful, right? Just simply providing such a beautiful anchor for the Terran player to fall back to. And somehow, some way, he seems to be pulling this off. He actually fought at such a weird angle that I thought that was gonna be it. 14 SCVs go down. New command center immediately starts there as well. And somehow, Bunny's pulling this back, although, woo, once again, absolutely gorgeous splits there by the South Korean Terran player. Still though, Trap, he's not done yet. Once more, decides to blink forward there with those Stalkers. Command center immediately canceled. He's like, you know what? You thought you were gonna go home, or you thought I was gonna go home? Not gonna happen. Okay, so now that the concave has been denied on the high ground, apparently this is the moment that he's waiting for, the moment where he wants to start moving onto that high ground, reinforcing units. They get picked off very quickly. A couple more Zealots decided to run across the map, and Trap, in an extremely hectic game, is the one who obtains the victory. That was sick. That was awesome. I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. And other than that, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile alright. And I will see you once again in the next one.